everyone, it's Alice and welcome to my take on the Quarter Year Crisis book tag. The Quarter Year Crisis book tag was made by Rashawn's Reading. She felt as though it was very focused on the end of the year when it came to like the mid-year book tag and the end of year book tag. So she's actually made a tag for the first quarter of the year, which I think is a great idea because it's good to be able to check in on your reading goals more regularly. And I really enjoyed her video, so I will link that down below and I'll link her channel. So if you'd like to see the original tag and potentially do this yourself, feel free. So take this as me tagging all of you, because I felt like doing a tag today, had no idea what one to do, and then I found a nice kind of wrap-up tag that was new, and that's definitely something that I enjoy doing, so it feels like the perfect time for me to do this one for you. So I'm going to run through the questions, give some answers. There's a bit of an open question for you at the end, because there's one of the questions that I do not have a single answer for, which I'm really disappointed in myself over, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So without further ado, let us go ahead. So the first question is, how many books have you read so far in 2022? And I am ashamed to say that the answer to this is 16, which means I'm reading about 5 books a month. Not bad. It does mean I'm doing about what I should be doing on Hook-a-Duck, because we dropped from 6 down to 4 on Hook-a-Duck, so we are on track with that. So I'm definitely reading the books that I'm putting into my TBRs, and I'm trying to be a bit more strict with my reading. I'm actually reading what I'm planning to read rather than just grabbing whatever off of the shelf. So that's working well. However, it does mean we're about 12 books behind on our Goodreads goal, I think, because we're aiming to get 100 read. And obviously by the end of March we should have read 25. So we're behind and I'm low-key panicking, but we're also reading a few books at a time at the moment, so we might get there. We're also reading much bigger books, which wasn't something that I anticipated when I set the goal at 100, so it is a case that I might end up reevaluating that in the middle of the year, possibly dropping it down to 75, because if we're reading books that are double the length of the books that we would normally read, that means we're technically reading more pages in the year, so I'm still happy with that. And also, the fact of the matter is, there was a couple of months last year where we barely even finished a book because I was in a really bad reading slump. So I'm feeling proud of 16, even though it's not where I would want to be, even though it's not where I would have been this time last year, or definitely not the year before, because at that point I was reading basically a book a day. But 16 is still good, and I'm still happy with it, especially because I've had some really great reads. Talking of great reads, the second question is, have you already found a book that might be a 2022 favourite? And I've actually got 2 that I would like to talk to you about. One being, surprise, surprise, House of Sky and Breath, because I am becoming Sarah J. Maas trash, and I absolutely loved every single page of this very, very large book. I loved my House of Earth and Blood reread as well, loved this one, really looking forward to the third one being released, and I just can't rate this series enough. I did a dedicated review to this one with a reading vlog, so if you would like to see my in-depth thoughts on it, which includes spoilers, then you can check that out as well, because I've raved about this a lot in the past, and I will continue to rave about this, and I'm already thinking about rereading it because I just love being immersed in this world, and I just think they're absolutely brilliant. I'd also like to talk about Under the Whispering Door by TJ Klune, which I'm currently halfway through. No, it's not on my TBR for this month. Yes, I decided to pick it up anyway because I don't want to read my Illumicrate Fancy Special Edition in case I bash it up because of the babies. So I borrowed it on my library app and the copy is expiring soon. So I was like, okay, I'll read that really, really quickly. And we are halfway through it, which I am happy about. But I am pretty sure this is going to become one of my favourite books of all time, if not my favourite book of all time. I'm loving it. There have been times when I've been reading out loud and I have been struggling to read through my laughter, and for a book that is about a guy that dies, that's surprising. There's some very intellectual conversations about what it might be like after death, whether there's kind of a waypoint and whether there might be something like heaven or hell. There's a lot of ruminations about what it means to have truly lived. Like, if you're successful but you don't have anybody that you love and you don't have friends and family around you, does that success really mean much? And it really makes you appreciative of life, and I'm loving it at the moment. It has made me quite emotional at points, but the funny thing is that it is overwhelmingly a funny book. Sean's been absolutely cackling at some pieces, and both of us find it quite hard to like, it's hard for books to hit our funny spot, so for both of us who've been laughing at this one, I definitely recommend it. And I haven't finished it quite yet, but by the time I finished it, at this point, I would say it was a 5-star. And at this point, I would say it's definitely in my top 5 books of all time. I actually love it more than The House in the Cerulean Sea, which is surprising, because I loved that, and I didn't think this was going to beat it. Even though this feels more like the kind of book that I should love, it's definitely very much my kind of book. But I don't know, I thought maybe I'd hyped it up too much in my head, and it doesn't seem like I have, which I'm really grateful about. So I'd also like to do a quick shout out to this one, just in case I finish it in a couple of days and I'm like, damn, why didn't I mention that? Because it's bound to happen. We then move on to the more disappointing books. So question number 3 is, any 1-star books / what is your least favourite book of the year? And it wasn't a 1-star, I gave it 2-star, I was being lenient, but it was Here's to Us by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. So I've already done a rant review of this one. I have, quite honestly, I had forgotten I read it this year because I managed to shove it so far to the back of my brain. It was an unnecessary sequel. It felt like a cash grab. It didn't really add anything to the story. In fact, I felt like it detracted everything that I loved about the first book. Like, the ending of the first book, it's very bittersweet, but it feels very realistic. And I loved that. I liked the fact that we didn't have this picture perfect, all the bows tied off neatly, all the ends kind of neatly wrapped up. I loved the fact that it was a messy book because it was very realistic, and for a YA contemporary I thought it was a very refreshing end. But the sequel just demolishes all of that, and it is gutting because I didn't love the first one, but I really enjoyed it, and I thought I might end up loving it more on a reread, but no, I just want to pretend that they don't even exist. It is what it is.
It is what it is. It is what it is.
Next up, we have most read genre so far, which I'm actually going to need to check through because I have literally no idea what I've been reading. I've just been grabbing lots of different stuff. So we've got contemporary, and then fantasy, and then non-fiction, and then fantasy, and then contemporary. So we're equal on that. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fantasies in a row. And 2 contemporaries in a row, 3 contemporaries in a row, and then another 2 fantasies. So fantasy of all different ages. We've got some adult fantasy, some middle grade fantasy, some YA fantasy. I'm just in a very fantasy mood this year, which is nice because it feels like that's what I'm going towards more anyway. But I don't know, because I've actually enjoyed, like, most of the contemporary books that I've been reading have all underwhelmed me. I'm like, yeah, I had fun reading them, but none of them have blown me away. So it definitely feels like the books that I'm rating higher are the fantasy books. So I think I'm going to lean into that, keep reading as many fantasy books as I can, just because then I know that I'm going to be enjoying the books more, and it should hopefully keep up my reading mojo. But I'm a little surprised because I felt like normally I feel like it would be more of an even split. I guess it's not so far askew. It's probably about 8 to 6. But when you've only read 16 books, that's like 50 to 33%. I can't do math in my head. But yeah, it's a bit of a gap. But probably going to lean into the fantasy for the second half of the year. Second half of the year. The next 3 quarters of the year. It's the quarter year crisis, Alyce, not the mid-year already. Oh god, this year's going too quickly. We're already a week into April. How is that happening? The next question is a book that surprised you. And is there? Are there any books on here that surprised me? Let's find out together. You Should See Me in a Crown. Good. Not amazing. Fine. Red Tigress, I really loved, but I thought I was going to. I loved it more than I thought I was going to, though, so that might count as a surprise. Broken by Jenny Lawson, I didn't like as much as Jenny Lawson's other book, Furiously Happy, but I did still enjoy it. Cool Down the Hall reread, knew I was going to love it. Here's to Us, I didn't have high hopes. Court of Wings and Ruin, I was a bit ambivalent on. House of Earth and Blood, reread, knew I was going to love it. Shadow Rising, it's Robert Jordan, I knew I was going to enjoy that. House of Sky and Breath, I knew I was going to love that. The Excalibur Curse, I didn't expect much, I didn't get much. Nightblood by Ellie Blake, same story. I guess Daddy by Emma Cline surprised me because it was awful. and I was expecting it to be amazing because I loved The Girls by Emma Cline. So yeah, that's surprising in a bad way. P.S. I Like You, wasn't expecting much. Love Hypothesis, I thought I would enjoy it, and I did, but I didn't love it. Beasts of Prey, I think I liked more than I thought I was going to, but I didn't love it. And I kind of expected to like it as much as I did. And Storm of Sisters I kind of liked less than I thought I was going to, but I don't know if that's just because it's a very different setting compared to what we've gotten in the rest of the Pinch of Magic series. So we'll go with Daddy for this one as like a bad surprise because I think I gave that book 2.5 stars maybe. Oh wait, shit, did I give that one 1 star? I literally didn't even bother clicking on it because no, I also gave that, oh yeah, closer to a 3-star read, so it's like a 2.5, yeah, so that's fine. It wasn't my lowest. But yeah, I was expecting that to be a 5-star and it plummeted down. The next question is about books that have been released in 2022 that you want to read but you haven't read yet, and the answer to that is just too many. Hoping to read Gallant soon, hopefully. So I would like to get on that. I've started the Atlas 6, but I would like to be able to finish it. What else have I like pre-ordered recently and been really excited about?
3 hours later.
Oh god, wow, I'm actually struggling to think of any. I thought I was like properly ready for this one. Oh, Crimson Rain by Emilio Enzao. My copy's only just arrived, but I've got that on the library app, so I'm hoping to read that soon. Mark My Words by Mohammed Khan, that was meant to come out 2 years ago, kept getting pushed back, and that's finally been released, so I also want to get to that soon. That's another one that I've got on the library app. I think that is pretty much everything. Like, I'm interested in The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Fairy Loot, but I don't know all that much about it, so I'm not fussed that I haven't read it yet. I would just like to read that one soon. Just trying to think what's been in the book boxes for the last few months. This Woven Kingdom, I guess I'm excited about. I loved the edition that Illumicrate did, which makes me want to read it. But I don't know too much about the story, and I haven't seen that many people talking about it, so I'm not sure on that one. But basically any of those. I would just like to be able to read more recent releases, like books that have just been released. If I could read more of those, that would be good, because I just seem to be continually dipping into backlist stuff. But read a few new releases, or new-ish releases, so far this year, so it's not too bad. Just gotta try and keep moving on the book box subscriptions and just keep, like, every time that they arrive I should be picking them up straight away, and if I can get on that, then that's fine. We then have one goal you made that you're succeeding at, and I guess that's nothing really. Reading 10% a day. I'm doing it. There have been a couple of days when I've managed to slip behind, so I've gone from like reading 10% to reading 6%, but then the next day I've made sure I've had 14%, so I'm averaging it out well. I'm gonna need to try and up it because that's not gonna work with reading 100 books in the year. But I'm happy with what I've been doing so far on that because I have been at least reading daily. I can't think of a single day where I haven't picked up the book at least once, even if I haven't quite hit that 10%. And that was the main problem with our reading slump last year because I kept going like days on end without even picking up a book. I just had no motivation. I didn't feel like I had to. So I was just skipping it, but now I feel like I have to, so I'm getting into the books a bit easier, which is nice. We also have one goal you made that you need to focus on. So this one isn't going to be reading related. This is going to be hydration. I was meant to be drinking, like I bought a litre bottle and I was meant to be drinking a whole bottle every single day because I'm not very good at keeping myself hydrated. And I think I managed to take that bottle to and from work with me for about a week, and then I got fed up with it because it was just water and I didn't want to drink water, and now I'm just drinking Pepsi Max all the freaking time again. And I would like to stop that. So cutting down on fizzy drinks and drinking water and staying hydrated is a goal I definitely need to focus on. But that's the kind of main one. I think there have been days when I was aiming to do 10 minutes of cleaning every day as well. I haven't hit that some days, but then there have been days when I've spent like 4 or 5 hours cleaning. So again, I feel like that is evening out. I'd like to be able to do little and often more, but it's a case of I've actually been able to dedicate some time to redoing the rooms, to redoing the bookcases, to sorting out clothes and stuff. So I don't want to force myself. If I've managed to do like a really big project, I don't want to then force myself to do 10 minutes the next day, because sometimes it feels like that will be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and then I will just completely stop. So I'm gonna try to be kind with myself on that one. But that's the only other goal that I think I'm suffering with at the moment. And this is when I need your help, because the last question is new to you, bookstagrammers, booktalkers, booktubers, bloggers, that you would recommend. And I have had nil time to discover new YouTubers, to discover new Instagrammers, to even load up BookTok. My TikTok has logged itself out and I haven't even had time to sort that out. So I have not been discovering new creators, and I have not been able to support and uplift the community as much as I like to. Because last year I was making an effort to watch a new video every single day, and I was commenting them and sharing them and really supporting the members of the community. And I do still dip in and out with some of my favourite channels, but I'm not watching it as regularly as I would like to be, and that is important to me. So what I would like is, if you have watched this far in this video, if you could recommend me a booktuber that is new to you, somebody with less than 1,000 subscribers, so it's somebody smaller, that you really think deserves more love and attention and you would like to uplift them. If you can put their link down in the comments, maybe link your favourite video of theirs or link something that you think I would enjoy, and then I'll check that out and discover some new channels, and then you will be helping me to fulfill another goal for the year. So that would be really great if you would like to take part in that. And again, like, if you don't have a booktuber that you would recommend, if you've got a blog post that you've really enjoyed that you'd like to promote, or if you'd like to send me somebody's Bookstagram because they don't have many followers and you think they deserve more. Like, I love everything bookish, and I love bookish social media, and I loved being part of that community, but I feel like when my mental health is suffering, I automatically pull back from any kind of interactions online. I don't know why. I'm fine with people in real life. I'm fine with chatting like this. But I sometimes get a bit anxious about answering comments. I sometimes don't want to participate in conversations because I just feel like I'm going to be getting in the way, which doesn't really make any sense, because, like, if somebody doesn't want to respond to you, they just won't respond to you, or they'll just tell you to fuck off. Like, it's the internet. People don't care. But that's just the way that my mental health works. When I'm in a bit of a downward spiral, like, I just shut down completely. And I'm starting to get through it, and I'm starting to feel a lot better, so it would be nice to capitalise on that and maximise the fact that I feel better so that I can actually use that to help other people, because, like, discovering and supporting small creators is one of my favourite things about being part of the bookish community. I love all the big ones, don't get me wrong, I love all the big booktubers, but it's nice to be able to also see people who are reading more unusual books, less popular books, books that you won't see on every person's channel. So yeah, if you'd like to link that, that would be really, really cool. And that is the end of the Quarter Year Crisis book tag. So thank you again to Rashawn for creating this tag. It's a really, really awesome tag, and I love the fact that there's one made for the end of the first quarter of the year. I'm hoping that she'll also make a tag for the end of the third quarter of the year, so that would be really cool if we get one of these that we can do kind of September, October time. That would be really nice. And yeah, if you like this video, please give it a like, and make sure to go and like the original as well. If you'd like to subscribe, we'd be super duper grateful. We've recently passed 700 subscribers, and my tiny brain, it is blown. So thank you so much for all of your support, and we really appreciate it. It makes us really happy that it's not just us talking to ourselves on the internet, and there's like lots of you now, which is scary. But yes, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and we will see you again in a couple of days with another one, because we post new videos every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. Bye! What do I do for a thumbnail? There's gonna be something in there, right? Let me hold my babies.